All right, here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Madison from Master of Project Academy, and we are here today with Dwayne King. Dwayne is one of our thousands of CAPM students, and he just recently passed his exam. Today, we're going to talk about his journey. So first of all, congratulations, Dwayne, and thanks so much for sharing some of your experience with us today. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to dive right on in. Why don't you just talk to us a little bit about your background? So where do you live and what is your current job?
Yes, absolutely. So I currently live in Seattle, Washington, the beautiful, beautiful Raid State, where I work in the public sector as a change practitioner. So I've been here for a little over a decade, and change leadership has really existed in many of my roles. So through an amazing mentor, he kind of provided me with several solutions, and one of them was getting my CAPM certification. And that's really what led me to where I am today.
Wonderful. That's awesome. So let's talk about the CAPM certification and exam. So how long did it take you to study for it? And what was the process like to until exam day?
How long? Oh, wow. So altogether, I would say about 4 months to study for it. And really, I started the journey, I want to say in April. Kind of doing research, trying to look for different programs that will kind of work well for me. And then once I selected Master of Project Academy, kind of dove in and literally, 3 straight months of diving into the material kind of happened. I will share that it took a month or two of time off of just like procrastinating.
So you signed up and then you were like, oh no, it's up to me. When do I hit go and dive into this head first? So it was a month of procrastination.
Yes. And so I don't count that month because I didn't do anything during that month. But yeah, definitely altogether about 4 months. Within that final month when I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. Really went back into the program, went through all the materials, the videos, took tons and tons of quizzes, and then I sat for the exam.
Wonderful. And just to take a step back, were you always planning on taking the CAPM exam and with the encouragement from your mentor, or did the pandemic have an impact on your choice to pursue this at this time?
So that's a very interesting question. Initially, no, it was never my intention to take the CAPM exam at all. My mentor provided different other certifications that I can kind of consider. Mm-hmm. Within the organization that I work for, and I was going to pursue those avenues. But truly, when the pandemic hit, I really was curious on what else I could do from a convenience standpoint, because those particular programs that I were going to sign up for, they were all, in person. And we were not doing any in-person facilitation or training. So it left me with, I still want to do something. I still want a certification. I still want that knowledge within that project management spectrum. What could I do? And that's where CAPM became an option for me.
Wonderful. So you talked a little bit about the challenge of, okay, I signed up and now I got to dive in. It's on me. What other challenges, aside from that self-motivation to kickstart your learning, did you face?
Another challenge was there was always this mention of the PMBOK guide, and I was familiar with it because I've done project management several times before. I have been a junior project manager on prior projects and understand all the different concepts, but I never knew how in-depth the book was. And so initially, just opening up the book, I became completely overwhelmed. And there was even a moment of doubt, right? I think that anyone will face when a 400-page book that's like, are you serious? There's like, what do you do with, like, where do you learn? How do you know? And and no matter how many blogs and, different posts and videos that I see online, they don't give me enough confidence. Okay, I can skip this section. It's all like, no, every section count. It's like 7% here, 8% here. You just got to do it all. So that to me was definitely a little overwhelming, kind of diving first into it.
Right. Wow. Okay. And in terms of the quality of Master of Project Academy's training materials, what did you think? How was it?
So whenever I learn, my learning style, I love lectures. I'm a lectures guy. Give me the information, and I love PowerPoint presentations. And Master Project Academy achieved that successfully. They had both of those, and the PowerPoints were visually appealing as well. And they did a really good job at breaking it up. So I had saw the book and was overwhelmed. And then when I signed up for the program with Master Project Academy, it was like a relief. I was like, oh, I can do this. This is just like a class, This is easier. And they presented it in a bite-sized formula, which I thought was so spot on, because I'm going to sound redundant here. The book itself is hard to chew. It's hard to digest. But the program was able to truly go section by section, give really, really good examples, real world examples that I was able to relate to. And it just worked out really, really better for me.
That's great. That's wonderful. Yeah. In this information condensed world we're now living in,
Yes.
a 400-page book, if you were to pass me that, I think I would absolutely need something bite-sized, someone to translate it for me so that I can
Yes.
in tandem keep up with it, have the confidence that I'm getting through it, but in a way, a learning format that works for me. I also was a good student and loved those lectures and PowerPoints as well. So I'm glad that hit the mark for you. And then out of curiosity, how many sample CAPM questions, exam questions, did you work through before the actual exam?
A lot. I'm going to start there. A lot. So I had read a blog that indicated that you should take at over 2,000 questions. So I took that number and I ran with it. And what was so amazing about Master Project Academy is that they had a lot of quizzes. Like with each section, they had quizzes, and then at the very end, they had some more quizzes, and they even had real life example tests. So I was really able to achieve my goal of 2,000 plus. So there was a different providers app that I use, and also Project Academy, the different quizzes. And I was able to literally not only knock out, but I was able to get into the habit of understanding the questions that would be on the CAPM exam. So Project Academy did a lot of diverse different question asking. It really made me think. It made me take notes. It also gave me a good outline of where I needed to go back and kind of like rewatch the video, which was always very convenient. I can rewatch the lecture, rewatch the video, get more information from it. So I would say, to answer it in its totality, over 2,000.
Wow. Congratulations. I have not been in an academic setting, even through online learning, in a while. And wow, I mean, you passed. So a testament to really sticking to it. That's wonderful. And how was the support you received from Master of Project Academy throughout the CAPM journey?
Yeah, at the very beginning, I had a few questions. I think I emailed the instructor. Well, actually not emailed. There's at the end of a lecture, it's kind of like a blog post. You ask the question, and the turnaround time was really great, less than 24 hours. And they were able to kind of break it down. I didn't use it that much because the lectures, honestly, the lectures and the PowerPoints, they did it for me. Like they literally was able to explain it in a way that made sense. And I was able to relate to what they were trying to get me to learn. But whenever I did have a question here and there, they were very responsive.
Wonderful. That's great. And if you had a colleague or a friend that was considering going on the same journey you just went on, in terms of the certification process and the prep and leading up to that exam day, what tips do you have for them to be successful?
See,
A real big, hot question at you right now.
Right. It's a big one. So I guess I can sum it up into to three. I'm gonna do my top three
Great.
tips. The first one, know the ITTOs, know your ITOs, because that's what you're going to hear so much. Although some materials say not to memorize, but to learn, I recommend doing both. Learn them and memorize them. Make them relate to your real life scenario. The second one is don't sweat the small stuff. The PMBOK guide is too large to learn. And so don't stress about trying to learn all 400 plus pages, just relax. And then I think the final one, which is in my opinion, the most important because that's what drove me, is just reminding yourself of your why. Your why and your purpose, and let that inspire and motivate you on your path, because that's really what led me to the finish line. Procrastination was definitely one of my self-saboteurs, but I went back to my why. And then I just scheduled the test. I scheduled it and said, I'm going to take it on this day and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And then I sat for it, and here I am, certified.
Certified, that's right. That's great. And those were some great tips leading up to the actual exam day. In that moment when you sat down and took the exam, do you have any tips or insights of how to get through the exam successfully for anyone who has some exam anxiety, perhaps?
Yes. So I recently was I was doing online schooling, and sitting for tests was always an anxiety. I had taken, 10, 20 plus tests, and I still get anxiety. So my best recommendation or my best tip would be relax and trust yourself. Everyone's experience will be different, but if project management is your passion, just trust that you're going to do great. On the day, I recommend don't do any studying. Just, you've already done it. You've done it all. Just relax. It. You're good. So yeah, relax and trust yourself. That's my best tip.
I'm not taking the exam, but I feel more confident with those tips you just gave me. I took a big deep breath, and I haven't even, dove into the material yet.
Right.
That's great. Thank you so much. That's great. I'm sure prospective students will appreciate that guidance. And then finally, Dwayne, how likely is it that you would recommend Master of Project Academy to a colleague or a friend?
Very likely. It was a successful program for me. Master of Project Academy provided a very strong foundation. Although project management is a part of my day-to-day, being able to dive into the technicality of the PMI standards and the way this program laid it out for me made it just that much more passionate for me, and also made it more successful for me when I sat for the exam. So honestly, here's a little secret. I can't wait to take the PMP certification, and I will definitely be using Master of Project Academy again.
Well, that is an amazing testament. We did not pay him to say that.
No.
So much for sharing, Dwayne. It means a lot. And again, congratulations again on your CAPM certification.
Thank you.
And glad to hear that the journey is going to continue for PMP for you through Master of Project Academy. And
Yes.
I'm sure we'll be calling you again soon to see how it all goes.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Madison.
Thank you.